Alright, welcome everybody to the live stream. So I'm actually using a newer version of OBS now, so let me know because I deleted the other one, so I lost all my settings. So let me know if anything's a little weird, like if you see a lot of compression. But yeah, today I might not work on Archipelo. I'm not sure. Maybe we will later. Depends how I feel. But we're just going to start out by working on the tutorials. So I just wanted to add moving platforms to the platformer game and then make a tutorial on it. So I kind of did it already, except it's not really working. I'll just show you guys real quick. So you can see the moving platform works. And if I step on it, it starts going crazy. My step-on code isn't perfect. I think that's probably the main issue. But I got it working for up and down, so that's good. Here, I'll just show you guys real quick. Reset the direction to up. It's not working right now. Maybe I changed something last night without remembering. Anyways, we're going to start out by fixing that. Well, basically redoing a lot of things just so it works properly. And hold on a second. Okay, so to do this, I basically it looks like the stream is not doing so well. Yeah, I'm just gonna, yeah, I'm getting a lot of drop frames. I'm just gonna stop the stream and get. Okay, and we're back. It still doesn't look very good. Now let me know if it's still pretty bad. Here, I'll open up the chat window so I can actually see your messages. Pop out chat. Yeah, it doesn't look very good right now from what I'm seeing. Still getting a lot of drop frames. Hold on, I'm gonna try again. I'll lower it a little more. Okay, it should be back now. Alright, so I lowered the bitrate, so it might look a little worse. Just let me know if it looks too bad. Yeah, this is libgdx. This is the game that we made in our platformer tutorial series, and I'm just continuing on it. So I want to do maybe one last episode. I don't know if we'll do any more after this, but I got a few suggestions to add moving platforms like this to be able to jump on them, and it'll move your player along with it as well. So it's not super complicated, but for beginners it can seem a bit more complicated because you have entities moving other entities around. But yeah, the tutorial will explain it. I'm just going to fix the bugs for now and maybe work on something else after. Maybe we'll even add networking to this. I think that could be interesting. Okay, so the main issue I think I found was here. It's I'm just going to comment this out because I don't really need this now. It's not really working, so direct dot. Oh, it's not public. Public. So basically, I'm trying to figure out a way so that I can tell whether a player landed or any entity landed on the platform. Well, basically, the way I'm going to try to do it is when the player jumps on the platform, it gets added to the platform's list of entities that are standing on it, and when the player jumps off or moves off of it, it'll get removed. It should work with any entity the way I'm doing it. And basically, whenever the platform moves, just say it moves 6 pixels to the left or something, it'll loop through all the entities standing on it, and it'll move all of them 6 pixels to the left as well. I'm guessing that's how most games do it, although I didn't really do any research. I just kind of thought of my own solution. Alright, so just say we have... Oh, I could have just used the square tool. Okay, so just say we have the platform. And then we have the player. So basically, we need to know when the player lands on it, so then we can set their position to smack on it like that. So the first thing we need to do is make sure that the player is actually in the X axis of it, so it's aligned with the platform horizontally. So if it is, then we need to check if the previous position is above the platform, but the next position after moving is equal to the platform height or lower, then we need to handle the case and then move them. So just say this is the previous position, this is the next one after it moved in one tick. We would set the position to that and then handle all the stuff that we need to with the platform. So it's not too bad. Oh, okay. Yeah. I mean, it seems not too bad, but I don't know, maybe it's just a little too complicated for what it really is. Yeah, I could do a velocity check. Well, I definitely will have to check the velocity. I'll have to check that the player is actually falling down. So that, well, if I'm checking that anyways, it'll be implied that the player is going down. But yeah, I in a sense I'm checking velocity because I'm checking if the previous position is above it, and if the next position is below it. I'm basically implying that the player needs to be moving down to do that. Okay, so it's in here. Okay, so to get the x of the player, so get x is greater than, so that's the x of the other entity, and this get y is no, what am I doing? This get x also is less than, it should be greater than or equal to, and this should be less than entity rect x dot x plus entity rect dot width. Okay, so that's the condition to check the horizontal axis. And then now we just need to check if the player used to be higher than the platform and now they're lower than it. So if this get y is greater than, so it would be the top of the platform, so you do entity rect dot y plus entity rect dot height. Okay, and this get y is, no, it's not this like at y, it's the new y. So basically the way this worked is it calculated the new position of the y, and then now it has to, now it has the new y position so it can check things. So now is less than or equal to, and it's the same thing as this. And I think that's it. So now basically we just have a little bit of logic to do, which we can actually just copy from here, I think. So oh, because this is returning false. Oh, that's why it wasn't working. So it should return true. Hold on a second. Yeah, that seems fine, I think. Oh, we actually have the new rect here, but we're not using that right now. Although I should be using it though. If new rect dot collides with entity rect, then we do a collides with. Yes, we have to have a cancelled condition as well. How did it work for this? Okay, we do have a cancelled variable. If, so we need to interact with the entity. So entity dot interact with this entity interaction type dot collide. Well, and I implemented all this yesterday. If it collides with, if and the collide is true, then we cancel the movement. Okay, and this sets cancelled to true also. Alright, that's good. Okay, let's try this then. Although I don't think it'll work to get off. I made that return true, yeah, right? Oh, wow. It just disappeared. I don't know, YouTube's saying the stream health is pretty low. Although I'm not losing a ton of frames here. Let me see. This is probably going to make the stream worse because I'm actually watching it in full HD now, just to see what it looks like. Alright, doesn't seem too bad. Just be sure to let me know though, because I can change the settings again. It doesn't take too long. Okay, so the platform just disappeared. So let's check the code. Yeah, let's do a test output here. Oops. Okay, so it never actually gets called in the end. So if the player's x is greater than okay, I think that should be good. Okay. I doing like this, and then do test 1. Okay, yeah, so that makes sense. So as long as it's there. Okay, good. Okay, now it's something up with this. So if the player's previous Y. Wait, I'm not setting the Y, right? Otherwise that would cause a big bug. No, I'm setting it here, so we're good. Plus height, and the new Y is less than. Let's see if we trigger that condition as well. No, it doesn't look like it. Okay, when we do this, let's also print out the next. So this dot get new Y. And let's also print out this, so we have an idea of where the player should be aiming for. Okay, maybe it's something with the sprites. Let me check. With, is there an image viewer here? Oh man, it just gives me a list of all the programs. That's bad. Here, I'll just go in my folder. Okay, no. So that's fine. Seems like the platform is always really high. Never really gets that low. But for some reason the player, like, see, you can kind of tell the jump. So see, it goes up here and then it starts going back down. So it's like you can tell this was a jump and he started landing back. Okay, I'm going to print out these things separately now. I have a feeling entity rect.height is not accurate. Let me just see. $30, yeah, that's good. Okay, look, let's check this out here. So this is the previous position, and this is the next one. So it's not lower than that, so we're still good. And this is the previous position, and this is also the next one. But the previous isn't equal to, it's like it kind of slips through. So maybe we have to keep track of the previous position of the platform as well. Oh, sorry, I didn't see all your messages. Yeah, checking for collision of the platform. Not too sure what you mean with pre-solve and post-solve. Alright, I think maybe I should do it a different way. Because it seems like the player is just kind of slipping through, which is a little weird. No, I'm not using box 2D. Yeah, this would be a lot easier with box 2D. Oh, okay, you're talking about how to do it with box 2D. Yeah, no, I'm trying to do my own implementation with this. Yeah, no, definitely with box 2D it would be so much easier. It's just not everybody, well, with the platformer we didn't use box 2D, so I kind of just want to avoid using another library that we weren't already using. Because if we were, then yeah, it would have been much easier for a lot of things too, also the tile collisions, but we already implemented that ourselves. So instead, I think I'm just going to check if the entity is going down and it's close. So it's less than 0. So maybe we should give like a 4 pixel yeah, like a 4 pixel movement or something is greater than okay, let's try this. Although it's a little sketchy compared to the other way. Okay, so it triggered it, but it didn't actually add it. Also, the moving platform starts moving even faster once you have entities touching it. Oh, see, that was weird. And the player seems to move slower too. I'm starting to question my entire implementation of this thing. I should have maybe put a little more thought into it. I didn't think it would be this difficult. Oh wow, so the player actually controlled the platform there. See if I press... Yeah, see if I press up when I'm not under it. I just don't get why the platform moves so much faster. Anyways. Okay, so it seems like this landing on thing works. The main issue I think is we need to have a way of telling if it's off. Yeah, telling if it gets off is even harder than that. I don't know. I'm gonna just do a little bit of research and just see how other people do it. Because I don't feel like implementing an entire physics system just to do this. I kind of just want to have a nice, easy way of doing it. Okay, yeah, so a lot of people were suggesting using like nodes. Yeah, some people actually did suggest using friction, which makes sense. Okay, I have an even better idea. Instead of doing a landing on thing, it's just going to be if it collides with it, it's going to affect it. So it'll be kind of like yeah, let's try that. I'm curious. Okay, so let's ignore this thing because this is just a pain. Here, I'll just comment that out. Okay, let's add a new thing here. So call it uncollide. So this is when entities are no longer colliding with the other ones. Well, it's not really entities on top anymore, but that's fine. Interactor. And we have the case of uncollide. Actually, I didn't really explain it, but if you return true here, it basically undoes. It's like a cancel for the interaction event. So you can actually make entities like if a player tries to walk in certain entities, you can actually make them collidable by simply just returning true, which is kind of cool. Alright, let's just try this now. Oh, concurrent modification error. Okay. So it's when updating the platform. Yeah, I made that condition, so make sure it's not the same one. Oh, okay, I see. I think if I just put a if here, it should work. If not, I'll just do like a clone thing, but that's not as efficient. But I don't think it's a big deal. Do the same thing here. So that should be equals. And if we're doing that here, we should really also implement that with the move stuff. Oops. Here and the last one here. Okay, but it seems like the player is still affected a little too much by gravity, so it isn't being moved up as much as it should. Okay, but it kind of works. What if it just started glitching out there? What if I return true like this? So you wouldn't be able to go through the on collide. No, this should be false. So you wouldn't be able to go onto the platform? Whoops. Current modification. Ah, no. Let's just try to run it again. Really, so if I return true, it does this error? I'm surprised I didn't see this error before. Okay, let's try that. Oh, this might cause some other bugs. I just want to see. Oh, okay, it's working like this. Although it makes this weird bouncing thing. This is kind of cool. And it doesn't always work either. It really would be much easier with box duty. I'm actually considering not doing this tutorial right now because I think it might be a little too complicated because there's a lot of stuff involved and it would end up being like 40 minutes long or something. It'd be pretty difficult I'm thinking eventually I might do a Box 2D tutorial, and then we'll kind of cover that in that one. But for now, this is... I want to try one other thing, though. Definitely. Okay, so I'm going to actually do another case statement here like this. No, what am I doing? I'm a bit out of it today. Direction. Okay, so it's basically going to be the same thing as this. So of course not the same code here. So y is equal to this dot get x, no, let's look at y plus this dot get height. Actually, I can do that for this too. Just make it like cascade through, it's kind of nice. Because it's the same condition pretty much. Well, not condition, same statement. And then we switch this for x. Alright, let's try that. I'm curious to see if that'll work. So basically, once a player is on top, we're setting the x of it to... I'm not even explaining this properly. Once an entity is on top, we're basically, every time we're moving the platform, we're moving the, we're changing the x or y axis depending on the direction of the platform to what it should be. It's kind of funny though, going down, it makes this weird effect. It's like it gets disconnected and then the player gravitates down to it. Oh yeah, it's true, and then the gravity builds up as well. Alright, I want to see if this works if we change the direction, so let's do 2. Whoa! Hey, now we're stuck in a block. Right, that idea I had only worked on the y-axis. Hold on. Yeah, it doesn't work on the x-axis. This thing here. Jeez, this is actually so annoying. I didn't think this thing would be that difficult. Like, I kind of planned it out. I was like, okay, cool. We'll have entities and sub-entities. But this is like... Whoa. And look, and then the gravity builds up. There's a few bugs in this, for sure. It's basically what happens when the player lands. Yeah, this is no good. If you just do plus equals, that'll probably work, but still. Yeah, there you go. It's weird. I move slower when I'm moving towards it. It should do the opposite. Why is this box so glitched? Whoa! What? Yeah, that's another thing too. You don't even have to be connected to it. You just stick like this. So you're not necessarily on top. That looks kind of neat, I think, but that's definitely not what we want. I'm gonna check this out a little more. I think that is pretty neat though. That'd be cool. Like, especially if the player had an animation, you know, like they're holding onto the platform from the bottom. That would be cool. Right, and the player can't even jump when they're on the platform either. I think maybe I won't do this tutorial. And eventually when I do the Box 2D tutorials, I'll implement it with that. Because I kind of want to do Box 2D eventually anyways. And I think this would just be a little too complicated for nothing. Like, we would have to implement a lot of other stuff too in the background. I didn't really plan for this tutorial, so this game isn't really built for that, I don't think. Is the stream okay, by the way? Right, so this collision thing just isn't exactly what we need, because it shouldn't be adding it if it's below. I think Oni Bojan, sorry if I said it wrong or something, but I think your idea with the friction was probably the correct way to do it, which was kind of the idea I had at first. But doing that would like require a lot of work on this. I think I'm just gonna leave it at that for this. I'm going to remove the platform from here. Actually, I wonder if I can comment out with JSON. I doubt it, but let's just try. Oh, you can. Nice. Here. Maybe we'll do some basic networking then, I guess. Is that a warning here? Just get rid of that. Oh yeah. Alright, we're going to create a new package for the networking. So basically I want to implement full-blown game networking for the platformer. So you guys can have a nice view of how it looks like when it's implemented to have some game networking. Network manager. So okay, yeah, I'm gonna have to go get the. All right. I was googling the Gradle dependencies for this, and it's so slow, and I'm like, why is it so slow? Oh yeah, it's because I'm streaming. Alright, so 1.9. Okay, what else do I need? Don't need the GWT. Put that here. Alright, let's rebuild this. What I'm curious about for these moving platforms is how did they do it like on the original Nintendo and stuff like that. Actually, I can't really think of any original Nintendo games with like NES games with moving platforms. Well, maybe. I don't think the original Mario does, but I know Super Mario World does for the Super Nintendo. So I'm curious how they did it, because obviously they didn't have like floating point physics and stuff like that in those games. And obviously had to be pretty efficient since it was written all in assembly and stuff. Is that it? Is it all loaded? It didn't say it was done or anything, but... Oh, what is it again? I'm gonna have to go in the Archipelo code. I don't remember how this worked. It's not super well documented, this library. I'm using libgdx WebSockets, but it's pretty good, I think. Although I'm considering switching to CrowdNet for Archipelo, but I'll see in a little bit. Won't switch right away, but it seems more efficient. It's probably just a better choice overall. Oh, okay, I see. It doesn't even extend it. That was the old library I was using. Here, I'm just going to change the title of the YouTube, the stream. Okay. Okay, so I don't think we need anything in the constructor just yet, although I'm going to use it later. So let's create a connect method. So we need a try catch just in case it doesn't connect properly. I'm mostly copying the Archipelo code at this moment, just because I know it works. But I won't copy everything though, because there's a lot more stuff in Archipelo we won't need. Okay, and we need the WebSocket here. So private WebSocket socket. It's probably a capital S, I'm guessing. Protocol. TCP, of course. The host would be the address. There's no socket hints. Yeah, I'm not going to do it this way. I'm just going to do .new. Use address and port like that. Okay, and we're going to create a WebSocket listener method. So this is going to, whoops, let's just implement it. So implements WebSocket listener. Okay, so we got our methods here. Actually, I think there's an extend. No, it's okay. We'll keep it like this. Because there's a, if you do it abstractly, like if you extend, I think it's a WebSocket adapter. You don't have to implement all of these, which is nice. But this is cool. So you can get a packet as a byte array, which is nice if you want to use like byte serialization for your packets. That's cool. On open, so that's when you get a new connection. So that's if the client gets connected. And yeah, so we'll add the listener, which is this object, the client network manager, and then we'll finally try to connect. And then in here, the on open, we will set is connected to true, and that's all, I think. Here, I'll just use the constants as WebSocket fully handled. Okay, this is if the connection is closed. So when it gets closed, we should set is connected to false. That's all we'll do for now. Here, I'll just do a system out just to let us know, so we know what's going on. And here, if there's an error, we'll also display the error. Error.get message. WebSocket error. Okay. And let's just output the message once we get one. So WebSocket message, just for now. Eventually we'll add in a packet parser. Well, not necessarily a parser. We're just going to be using JSON, but we'll use we'll add in a packet loader, as well as packet handlers and a couple other little things like that. And we'll just print out the packet like that. And I think that's it for the client. Maybe we should add a disconnect, although it's not really necessary. And we should do a condition: socket is not equal to null. Socket.close. There you go. Maybe we should do also this, and not is connected. No, and is connected. We want it to be connected so we can disconnect, right? Okay, oh yes, we also need to have a method to send a packet. So public void send packet, and it's just going to be a string for now. We need to make sure the socket's not null, and then we just do socket.send. There you go. Just need to make sure that we're connected to, of course. Okay. I think that's all. Now let's add in the server, which is very similar. Although the server is a little bit more complicated, but still similar. Oh no. Rename compilation unit. There you go. Alright, and the server. I'll go get my code for that, just to have some consistency. Right, so for this one we're going to accept a port, because this one extends WebSockets. Oh, The server is using something out. On the Archipelo server, it uses some other library. It doesn't use libgdx WebSockets. So it's going to be a little different again. So we'll have our WebSocket. Alright, so that's going to start the server. Socket dot, whoops. Let's put an error here. Wait, no, there's no is connected in this. So socket is equal to extended net dot get net dot new server socket. Port. Okay, so this should be server socket then. I feel like this uses... No, I shouldn't be using this. I think this is the default libgdx thing. I don't know. Doesn't seem like the right thing to use. Let's just use that. I'll set the host to a local host and a port to port. Now that I think of it, I use WebSocket adapter. I just want to be consistent. I'm going to switch that. I'm thinking I might just end the stream in a couple minutes. I don't know, I'm not really talking much, I'm just kind of doing things, and I don't really think this is that interesting. So I might just stop it. I think tomorrow I should be streaming for Archipelo stuff, so that'll be fun. But I don't really feel like it today. So I'm just going to copy all this. No, this doesn't work. I need to check the documentation of this to see how they actually use. How they actually do a server, because I don't even know if this actually can be used as a server. Anyways, yeah, I think I'm just gonna end the stream here and do all this research on the side, because I think this isn't really that interesting. So yeah, I'll be streaming Archipelo stuff tomorrow. Should be a lot cooler. We're gonna be finishing off the combat. So there's still a few little things we need to do. Like I think tomorrow we're gonna be adding in the sound effects for using different weapons. Maybe a little bit of animation stuff. We'll maybe make some placeholder art just to test it out. And yeah, I think it'll be pretty cool. So yeah, be sure to tune in tomorrow. I'm pretty sure it'll be less boring. Yeah, I don't think I'll be doing that moving platform tutorial, at least not with the current code. I might try to find a solution that's simpler, but it'll take a little bit of more time. So yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.